of the NFL Pick'em League. So the weeks are going by pretty fast, and this tournament started off with 100 and I want to say 36. Now we're down to 124 after this week. After 6 weeks, that's not too bad. These are the records and the results for just solely 6 weeks. So you'll see just the wins right here that I posted. I didn't post wins and losses. So this is a pretty good week. I think this was the week that people needed to rebound. Last week wasn't that good. It was okay. It was average. I think only like maybe 10 people went double digits or something. It was something crazy. And now, as you can look at the records, you can see everybody did well out of 15 games. Some people won 12 games this week. So, got to give a shout out. Look at this. Look at this one division here, Division 4. Everybody's got 11 wins. Everybody. And look at this one. Look at this division here. The same thing. This was a week that I think everybody needed to redeem themselves because there was a lot of upsets last week. We officially have no more unbeaten teams in the NFL. And, you know, the Jets topple the Eagles. The Cleveland Browns upset the San Francisco 49ers. Who would have thought we would have been seeing these things? I would have never imagined it in my life. If you would have told me that both of those teams were to lose this week, I thought, if anything, both of them were going to go undefeated going into their matchup in late December. And yeah, there was a bunch of upsets this week. I mean, I thought Arizona was gonna upset the Rams. They were up 9-6 at halftime, and you know something happened there. And by the way, if you guys do see this right now, you can always hit the pause button. You can always go back and check your records later. So you know, if you come on, you're like, "Where's the records at?" I'm like, "We'll just rewind the video and press pause." That's all you really have to do. So we have 124 people in the tournament right now, and we do the picks every week. You just pick the winners. That's it. That's all you do. And if you didn't join this year, you can always join next year. Well, we used to get actual championships belts if you won. I had a guy that actually customizes it. You would have like 4 or 5 templates. It's like, looks like a WWE belt. And in the center template, most people will put the skyline of the city they reside in. It's really cool. And then you would put like either your favorite team's logo on there. You could put like your logo on one of the templates on the side. On the other one, you could put like Houston or whatever you reside in. I mean, it just depends on how you customize it. But that's you know, that guy used to make really good design belts, man. And that was really cool, you know. These are the records if you add everything together from week 1 to week now. And my record's shitty. I'm about to show you all my record in a minute. But this is Division 1 so far. The best record is 64-29 for that division. As you can see, the worst is 54-39. And this is Division 2. And like I said, I'm just going to show it slowly now, so you guys can always hit the pause button. Like I said, if you have Facebook, you can always add the tournament group page and print your own paper out. Makes it a lot easier, actually. And if you're like, well, I don't want to reveal myself, well, you don't have to do that. You can make a sock account and just do that. And then you can make I know some trolls who have fake. One troll that I know I'm familiar has a fake profile, and he said, "Hey, this is my profile. Just add me to the tournament site," and that's what I did. And then you know he's able to print out his own paper from there and do the weekly check-ins. Because I also do pick'em leagues for basketball, baseball, college football. I also do them for I did college football, NFL, basketball, baseball, the World Cup. And also I do it for FIBA basketball, men's basketball. I don't do any for hockey. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not really interested in hockey. People ask me every year, "Are you gonna do hockey?" I'm like, man, look, man, I'm really not into hockey, man. I would love to, but I'm just really not into it. Like I said, if I'm going too fast, you guys can always hit the pause button and kind of check it out for yourselves. The best record total, I think, is Jesus. He's 65-28. Hence the name Lord and Christ. I'm just kidding. That's the best record in the league, and I think the worst record is 46-47. I think that's Lavanya. No, Xenon is 44-49. Yeah, he's dead last, so he's got a losing record. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the picks. Let me turn this around. Hey, New Jersey Devils. Oh, you're a hockey fan, Caitlin? Oh shit, you're like the 1 in a million Obama. You know. You know, like it used to be like a thing we would say. You know, like, not too many black people like baseball. But that's changed over the years. That has changed. Now it's, well, they don't like hockey. I don't like hockey myself. I'm not a fan, but, I guess that might be an upcoming thing, but I just never could get into it. That's just not my thing, man. You go to their games? No shit. Are you like the only black person in there? I'll just kid. I'm messing with you. Right? All right, we're going to go with the picks now. My record is 51-42 overall. Last week I went 7-8. So yeah, I did shitty on my picks. So it wasn't a good week for me. But it was a good week for most people. They went double digits. So this was the worst week. That's why I'm dead last in my division. I'm 51-42. My first place in my division is at 61, so I'm 10 games back. Doesn't mean I can't come back. It just means I've dug myself kind of a hole for this week. But all right, there are officially 6 teams I got to buy. Bungles, Cowboys, Titans, Jets, Panthers, Texans. All got the off week. Marvin says, Eyewitness News. How's it going? Oh, I'm doing all right, man. I haven't heard that saying in a long time. Marvin Zindler. Wasn't he like part of the news team or something like that? If I'm correct. Old Houston news for you. I think he was the guy that used to say, I'm trying to, well, I mean, like I said, this is probably beyond mine, but didn't he say something like slime in the ice machine or slime in the bucket or some shit like that? Like he used to say those on the commercials. The Jets are off this week. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the picks. Not going to waste any more time. I went 7-8 last week. I fucking suck. Rachel says, look like you lost some weight there. Yeah, so far, I kind of plateaued. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm at, I was at 250. Now I'm at 242 right now, and I'm on day 10. And, I feel better, have more energy. That sort of ordeal. So that's always good, right? To get back in health and get back in shape. Never too late, guys, to start eating healthy. But I'm telling you, man, when you get back problems and shit, man, it just gets worse. So that's why I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to start changing my eating habits. So I feel a lot better now, have a ton of more energy, better outlook, that kind of ordeal. But I know the motivation, my dad had this speech with me the other day. He said, you're going to lose some weight, the ordeal. You've done this before, but he just told me after a month you're not gonna be as motivated anymore. So you have to kind of force yourself, if that kind of makes sense. And I said, well, yeah, that does sound about right, because after about a month or two you get kind of burned out and you want to quit. So he just told me that you're gonna get that natural motivation at first, but after that you got to find ways to be motivated to do things, especially working out or eating healthy, that kind of ordeal. So he just said you have to keep going. That's the whole point. All right. That was good enough advice right there, so I'll follow that. All right, we got now officially week 7. Let's go to the picks. All right, so I wrote the picks down, but I made some changes, and I'll go over them and say why. First game, Jacksonville, New Orleans. This is the Thursday game, October the 17th. So the Jaguars are 4-2, top of the AFC South. The Saints are at 3-2, right? No, 3-3. They're 3-3. Okay, so they're 3-3. The Jaguars are 4-2. So this game is gonna be really good. Can the Jaguars bounce back after having to win 2 international games and come back and win at home? Jaguars kind of found a little stride. They've won 3 in a row. The Saints, coming off of a struggling loss against the Texans last week in a game I think they should have won. But, to be fair, both teams are fairly equal on both sides of the ball. Defensive-wise and offensive output, I thought we were both equal. I mean, compatible. Anyone could have won. It was at a coin flip, and it was. It came down to the last drive. But this is going to be a good one. I'm going to say it's a must-win for the Saints because I think the Saints want to keep pace ahead of the Bucs. They want to keep ahead of pace of well, not Carolina. Carolina's at the bottom of the barrel, but maybe if Minnesota tries to make some sort of epic comeback, go ahead and give me the New Orleans Saints to win at home. I think the New Orleans Saints take it. Now you got the next one. You got the Sunday's games. October 22nd. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Raiders at Bears. So Justin Fields is injured. From what I'm told, he's going to be out for some time. So the Badgett era begins. So they're going to have a new quarterback coming in the game. The Bears are 1-5. That sucks. The Raiders are coming in at 3-3. Jimmy G and company. The Raiders have won 2 in a row. All right, so this is going to be a very good game. Both teams desperately need a win here, but who gets it? I did have the Bears penciled in, but I switched it. I think the Raiders come in, they get the win in Chicago. Because the Bears, Fields is out, they got Badgett in. Nobody expects that Badgett's going to, be able to perform his first game. He's going to be entering in at, rookie year and all that. So I think the Bears get the win in Chicago with experience. I think Jimmy G's has has the sort of the leverage in this. And I think Jimmy G, the Raiders won 2 in a row, got a little bit of momentum. I think the Raiders go in Chicago and they secure the win. So go ahead and give me the Raiders. I did have the Bears, but I switched. All right. Next one. Cleveland heads to Indy. Now, Deshaun Watson didn't play last week, but they beat the Niners. There was no Deshaun Watson, but they did have, what's his name? I don't know who they had at quarterback. Whoever that quarterback was, he didn't do too well, but the Cleveland defense dominated that fucking game. The Cleveland defense dominated that game. I'm going to say, I'm going to say the Colts win this one. I'm going to stick with that pick because the Colts do play better with that backup quarterback they have, Gardner Minshew. Oh, P.J. Walker? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Gardner Minshew in Indy because I don't think Deshaun Watson will be back. But if Cleveland's defense plays tough like they did last week, man, they're going to win some games. But I don't know. I think this is a perfect advantage for Indy to have a bounce back win right here. Go ahead and give me the Colts to win. Buffalo at New England. Wow. I'm not going to go too in depth with this game. I think we all know Buffalo's going to win. I had the Patriots win in the last couple games and they let me down. Thought they were going to come back and maybe this is a sign for New England to just tank and rebuild. I've been hearing that on Master at Work's channel. But New England's not going to win this game, dude. Come on, let's just be honest. Even though the Bills have been struggling, but they're going to win this game. Or they should. I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm not going to gamble on that one. All right. Where we at next? Washington Commanders at the Giants. Washington is an iffy team. They play good on the road, but they don't play well at home. The Giants are a complete clusterfuck. However, last week they almost beat the Bills and played very good defense. They played very good defense. So this is going to be Clash of the Titans here. This is a tough one. Because I could see the Giants winning in the trap game. This is a division game. Giants play well against divisional opponents. Yada, yada, yada. Washington, on the other hand, does play fairly on the road. I give them credit for that. This is an advantage for Washington to win, but this is a possible trap game for the Giants, and trap games do happen. Last week was an example of that. Nonetheless, go ahead and give me the Washington Commanders. This is just a game I'm not gonna gamble on. I'm not gonna gamble on the Giants here. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. The Giants been playing terrible. They haven't had a first half touchdown yet in 6 games. Well, for the whole season. So far, Giants, if they don't get their offense together, they're going to find a tough time winning any more games this year. And you could be seeing the Giants at the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick along with the Panthers, that sort of ordeal. But give me the Commanders to win. All right, this is Atlanta at Tampa Bay. This is the next matchup. Bucks, you lost me $20 last week. I'm kind of mad about that. But I kind of forgive you at the same time because the Bengals won. They beat the Seahawks. And so me and the guy, we break even. Even though I try to tell him, let's bet on the Cowboys game. I would have took them boys, and I was almost this close to getting $20 from him. But he, at the last second, he said, nah, we'll bet next week games. I said, okay, that's fine. We'll do week 7, you know. And nonetheless, Atlanta at Tampa Bay, another division game. Very interesting game. Can Tampa Bay, after this home loss, bounce back and beat the Falcons? Falcons, Desmond Ritter, his streak comes to an end at a perfect home record. Now they travel at the road to the Bucks. This is going to be a very big divisional game, and I'm going to say this: I think both teams are very capable of sending this to overtime. I'm reading overtime all over. This could be a tie. This game could end in a tie. However, I'm going to go with my gut. And for some odd reason, my gut tells me Atlanta goes in and gets the win. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Falcons to get the victory in Tampa Bay. Maybe I might regret this one. Crispy Cruiser, I'm sure you'll remind me of it. All right, next is game number 7 of the week. Detroit at Baltimore. And this is possible game of the week. I want to say that's game of the week. I don't think there's any. Well, you could do that in the later Sunday night football game, but I'm just saying Detroit at Baltimore argument is one of the game of the weeks. This is going to be a very good game to watch. The Lions going at 5-1. I think the Ravens are what, 4-2, right? So that's 6 games, right? Yeah. So 5-1, 4-2. If I'm correct, I think that's their records. So if Ravens win, they both go 5-2. But if the Lions go in and get the win, they're finding ways to win. The Lions are figuring out a way to close games, and they're 5-1. That's a great record to have. They're a sleeping giant, under the radar team in the NFC, and they could very well go into Philadelphia, go into San Francisco, and could sneak a W. That is a sleeper team. The Detroit Lions could very well even come out of the NFC. This is going to be a very good game. This is going to be a good home crowd. The Baltimore Ravens fans are going to be hungry. And the Detroit Lions, great road team. They're looking for the win. This is going to be a good game. Be expecting it to be a high-scoring game on both sides. Nonetheless, I think the Ravens get the win. Go ahead and give me Baltimore to get the win at home. And I think the Ravens go to 5-2, and the Lions fall to 5-2. I think their luck will run out sooner or later. They got to lose another game here or there. So I think the Ravens get the win at home. Number 8, Pittsburgh at the Rams. This is another good game. Very good game. Kenny Pickett, hopefully he's, thank God he didn't tear his ACL. Thank God he's available for the rest of this year. The Steelers have a chance to compete. They looked really good against the Ravens the week prior. The Rams still kind of like hovering around 500. They're trying to win some games. This is going to be in SoFi Stadium. It's going to be a very competitive game. But go ahead and give me Pittsburgh to win on the road in Rams home. I got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Instead of Timber, you go Pittsburgh. Number 9. Arizona at Seattle. Sorry, Arizona, you're not winning. It's as simple as that, man. Seattle's got your number, and they're going to win this game. Give me the Seahawks. I don't think anybody's going to debate me on that. Arizona at Seattle. Seattle wins, and they win by landslide. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to get the W. Against the Arizona Cardinals at home, I think this is a good bounce back for Geno Smith, Seattle and company. They're 3-2. They'll go to 4-2. Perfect game to do this. Seattle bounces back. They get the win over Arizona, who's a struggling team. They're also fighting for a number 1 pick. Arizona, Carolina is also up there. You can maybe throw the Giants in there as possible top number 1 picks for this, the 2024 draft, But nonetheless, give me Seattle. Green Bay at Denver. Okay, so rumor has it that this is Russell Wilson's last year in Denver, despite the fact that they got him on a long-term contract. Rumor has it that Sean Payton is unhappy with Russell Wilson and says that he's not the same quarterback he used to be, although he denies the allegations of saying that. But hey, who knows? Maybe there's some truth behind it. And the rumor is that they want to put the foot out in the boot and get Russell Wilson out the door, and they want to completely rebuild. They've talked about possibly trading Judy. They've talked about trading Sutton. They've talked about this, and I said, you know what? maybe if you could get another veteran quarterback, you can sort of keep that core unit there because they still got talent. But at the same time, I'm thinking if you're Denver, why not just blow it up and then rebuild in the draft and get fresh new young guys, get a young new quarterback? Maybe it may take you 2 or 3 years. That's what the Texans had to do. We had to blow the whole thing up. I'm thinking Denver could be on the. They may play that trump card, but I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. But rumors has it Russell Wilson, his time will maybe short in Denver, and this may be his last year in Denver. But who knows? It's all just speculation. But it wouldn't surprise me if they pulled the plug on Russell Wilson. He has some talent in him. He has a little bit of skill set in him. If you probably traded him, you could get a first-round pick. If you possibly put him in the free agency, don't think the Jets wouldn't sign him. Wouldn't sign Russell Wilson. There are some teams out there he'll still be a starter probably for at least 5 or 6 teams that are desperate for a quarterback. But nonetheless, they do have a home game this week against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, team who just lost against the Raiders on, Monday Night Football last week. The Packers are taking on, the Broncos in Denver. This game could go really either way. I mean, it's really kind of 50-50 split down the middle. Both teams have a pretty good defense. Both teams have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball, so it's just going to come down to, which Jordan Love you're going to see. Are you going to see the one that threw 3 interceptions, or are you going to see the Jordan Love who has an arm, can read the defense as well, can be able to pick the defenses apart and find the open receivers and Watson or whatnot. But nonetheless, my thing is I think that this is a trap game. I think that Denver somehow gets it together. I think after all the allegations and rumors, I think Russell Wilson plays well under pressure in this scenario. This is against a Green Bay Packers team who is sort of like in rebuilding mode. I think Denver takes advantage of that. Give me the Denver Broncos and Caitlin to get the win for this week. This Caitlin, you go to 2-5. So you get your second win this week. So I'm going to give Denver the W on this game over the Packers. All right, next. Chargers at Chiefs. The Chargers are 2-3. On the verge of probably going 2-4. The Chiefs are what? They're struggling. Defending champions are struggling. State Farm commercials with Patrick Mahomes and his gay brother. This and that. It's a division game, and the Chargers do have a chance. They actually do play well in Arrowhead. I will give them that. However, it's not going to be this week. Sorry, Chargers. You're without Mike Williams. You don't have a running game. You don't really have a secondary that can stop top prolific receivers. You're coaching. You're coaching on certain play calling abilities late in the game has been suspect. Your defense gets gassed out easily, and thus you keep the games close, but at the end you end up beating yourselves. That's going to be hard to do against a Kansas City Chiefs game who Patrick Mahomes can single-handedly slice and dice, find open the wide receivers, get Travis Kelce involved, and get those touchdowns that they need. And this is a game in Arrowhead, and they're coming off a 13-day rest because they beat the Broncos and Russell Wilson on that Thursday night. So they're coming on literally a week and a half rest. They're going to have a little bit of advantage. You guys are only going to have a 6-day rest. And the mountain injuries, you're without Mike Williams. Keenan Allen's probably on his last year, tenure. I think that, and then, of course, the speculation is that Justin Herbert has an injured shoulder and that he's playing through it. Even after the surgery, that he might still be hurt. He tends to be a little inaccurate throwing the ball down the field. And I saw that in last night's game against the Cowboys. Therefore, I think that the Chiefs win. I mean, it could be a little bit close, maybe within a 2-score reach, something like that, and a 10-point win, 11-point win. But I think the Chiefs get the win here. And I don't think there's any debate on that. So give me Kansas City to beat the Chargers. Okay. What's next? Miami at Philly. This is could be the second game of the week between those two that I read earlier: Detroit, Baltimore, Miami, Philly. Probably must-to games to watch. This is going to be a good game. Battle of the 5-1 teams. So obviously both teams get a win that's 6-1. The other's 5-2. It's not too bad. That's still a good record, but at the same time, uh, this is going to be a good matchup. Tua's on the road. I know he got humbled in that Buffalo loss, but can Tua resurge himself in a game at Philly in that tough crowd at Lincoln Financial Field on a Sunday night football game? The Eagles are at home, and this is going to be a very, Eagles are coming back after that nasty sting loss against the Jets, where that Jets defense has been stingy. And, so the Dolphins definitely want to, try to see if they can, compete amongst the best teams in the league. And this is going to be a battle tested right here, Miami and Philly. This could go either way. But I think the Eagles win at home. And in Lincoln Financial Field, it's going to be hard to get a dub there. I think Miami struggles. I think their struggles will continue in Philly. I think Philly gets the win. Give me the Eagles to get the win at home against the Miami Dolphins. So now we're down to final game of the week. Game number 13. So there's 3 less games this week because 6 teams got a bye. So that's 3 games. Yeah. So this is 13 games. Monday Night Football. San Francisco 49ers. They travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Vikings got a horrible record this year. I know they're 2-4. And the Niners are coming in at 5-1. A stunning loss against the Cleveland Browns. Should have won that game. They didn't. So they got the loss, so they're 5-1 now. So this is going to be a good game. I think both teams are capable of winning this game. This game could be fairly close. The Vikings are going to definitely have to bring some fire in this game if they're going to want to compete against San Francisco and that high-power offense they got. And this is going to be a very, 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 very good game. Can the Niners bounce back? Can they shake off that rust against the Cleveland Browns and get the win in Minnesota? Niners, Vikings. Who wins? Okay, I think the Niners get the win. I don't think you're going to see them make the same mistake twice. I don't think lightning strikes twice in this scenario. I think the Niners go into Minnesota. It's going to be a close game at the very beginning, Monday Night Football game, big game. Vikings fans, Niners fans are going to show up. They're all going to show out. Their teams are going to flex for a little bit. You're looking at maybe a 14-14 game at halftime. I think somewhere along the line, the Niners pull away. They get the win. I'm going to say 34 for the Vikings. No, for the Niners. Vikings 20. I think it's a 34-20. Niners get the win over the Vikings in that game. So, just to recap, just all the teams that I picked without explanation. Okay. I got New Orleans to defeat the Jaguars Thursday night. Sunday slate of games. Raiders go into Chicago, take out the Bears. Browns lose in Indy to the Colts. I'm sorry, the Colts get their shit together, bounce back, get a win. Buffalo goes in New England and probably decimates them. I think Washington goes in New York, takes out the Giants. Atlanta wins in Tampa Bay. Baltimore cools off the Lions. They get the dub. Pittsburgh in LA Rams gets the win. Seattle defends home court against the Cardinals, and they win big in that game. Big statement game. Bounce back for the Seahawks. Denver in an upset. They defeat the Green Bay Packers. Like I said, that's for my upset there. I got Kansas City, of course, beating the Chargers. The Sunday night football game, the Eagles take down the Dolphins. And Monday night football, I got the Niners going inside of Minnesota, taking out the Vikings, and going to 6-1. That will send the Vikings to 2-5. And those are pretty much my week 7 NFL picks. We have been through we're almost technically halfway. In fact, we're 393 games have been played out of 272. So yeah, we're not exactly halfway done. It would have to be 130 something or 100 and what it would be 8, and it had to be 136. So yeah, we're still a little way from the halfway mark, but we're almost getting there. We're halfway done of the NFL season almost. We've seen some great storylines, but the most important storylines are there are no more unbeaten teams in the NFL. Any given Sunday, there's always room for upsets. Now, upsets really don't surprise me anymore when you see a team with no wins beat a team with many wins. You saw that with the Niners. You saw that with the Eagles this week. You saw that. And again, I think this week is going to be some very fun matchups to see. I think, of course, my favorite game personally is going to be Lions and Ravens. But I think a lot of people are probably going to disagree and say, no, the Dolphins and Eagles is the best game to watch. It's probably the most entertaining game. But I want to see exactly what this Lions team has to prove. And if the Ravens can bounce back and, Lamar Jackson's large contract, then you add into the fact that you got that you have the Lions, who are red hot right now, and everybody's waiting for them to fold. Can Lions go in and get another big road win and solidify themselves in the NFC playoffs as being a sleeper team, a team that could possibly go in and upset some of these bigger teams? Because everybody right now is talking about who's going to the Niners. I mean, who's going to Super Bowl? Niners, Eagles for the NFC. But when you have Detroit that's coming out of nowhere, nobody's really talking about the Lions. The Lions have an opportunity to make some noise. Could the Lions go into Lincoln Financial Field later down the year, right? If they play in the playoffs, or go into a possible San Francisco and sneak a W? It is very possible. And in fact, there's probably another team that people sleep on too. And I'm going to give Brandon Rodgers a shout out. He'll probably watch this later. But the Seattle Seahawks, that's probably the second sleeper team, despite the fact that they lost at Bengals last week. I think the Seattle Seahawks is that second sleeper team. So when everybody's talking about Eagles and Niners, it's a possibility you could be seeing a Seahawks-Lions NFC Championship game, the way that things are moving. The way things are moving right now. And those are the only 4 teams in the NFC, in my opinion, that have any sort of just separation notable. They're just the only notable teams are those 4 in the NFC. And it separates them from the rest of the pack. So you got the other 12 teams that are just sort of a crapshoot, barrel in the bucket crapshoot, and you just put those 2 teams and one of them's going to win. You don't know who. You just have to gamble and hope you're right. But those are the 4 teams in the NFC that I think are most interesting, and I think that the Lions and the Seahawks are very capable of winning in Lincoln Financial Field, and they're very capable of winning in what used to be called Candlestick Park. I don't know what they call it, Levi, or I don't know what they call it now, but I do believe. Don't be surprised if you see Seahawks and Lions in the NFC Championship game. I shit you not. It is possible. Don't write it off. And that would be a rematch. I don't think I'd want to see Seattle and Detroit this time. I think I'd want to see the opposite, because Seattle won in Detroit. So I think they kind of earned the right now to be at home against the Lions. So let the Lions go to them and let them try to win on the road now in Seattle. But this time for a playoff game. And that would be kind of, I'm not going to lie, storyline-wise, it's kind of interesting to kind of see. I'm kind of interested in that, low-key. What is the shitty game of the week? The Tank Bowl? I got to do Athletic Dashies picks pretty soon. I'm going to say that the Tank Bowl is probably most likely Green Bay and Denver. No. Yeah, I would say Green Bay and Denver probably is the Tank Bowl. But anyways, those are my picks. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little 35-minute video. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Who are the best teams in the AFC? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just I think Kansas City is the only team that just really stands out in the AFC. The Chiefs. They're the defending champions for a reason. They kind of dominate AFC. They always had the Bengals number. They know how to beat Cincinnati. I think they could beat Buffalo too. Buffalo's probably the only realistic team that I think that could possibly beat maybe Kansas City in a playoff game. But that's still just nor here nor there. It's not set in stone. But I think the Chiefs come out of the AFC this year. I don't think anybody's debating that. I think the Chiefs or the AFC are going to come out of the AFC. I think now it's going to narrow it down to the NFC. Who's going to come out of the NFC? 4 teams: Lions, Seahawks, Eagles. Lions, Seahawks, Eagles, Niners. So you got 4 teams there. So which one of those 4 is going to reach the bowl to beat Kansas City or possibly give Kansas City a run for their money? And I think all 4 of those teams are highly qualified. So it's going to be a fun NFL season. And like I said, we still got a long way to go before this ends. We're barely, 6 weeks into it. We're hitting our 7th week. We've played 93 games. We've done 93 picks. We are now down to, 100 from 272 is 172 plus 9. So we got 181 picks. So we're still a long way to go in this regular season. And we're not even halfway done yet. So it's going to be very fun, very exciting to see what storylines we're going to see that's going to be brewing out of week 7. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm currently signing out. And y'all take care. Bye. Well, hold on. God damn it. I always have these that pop up. Sorry. Y'all take care.